Good afternoon, everyone. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm going to go injuries real quick. So Mike, obviously, he's dealing with his ribs. We're going to go day to day. We're going to get more information today, tomorrow. I'll have better answers for you Wednesday. Quinnen, same thing. He's dealing with his calf, similar to the one he had in training camp. But again, we're going to go give it a couple of days, see how he feels, and then Brandon Eccles will be out. I'm just going to rule him out already. He's dealing with his quad strain, and then Marcel Harris, he's dealing with his ankle. He may be out for the season, but he won't be available for Detroit either.
Robert, on Mike. So obviously he went for those more tests last night, probably some more today. So does he have a rib fracture?
No, I'm not going to get in the details. I know that what they saw was good enough for him to get back on the plane, and he passed all that stuff. He just talking to him, he feels good. So he's, again, we're just trying to let this kind of play out just to see how, he's still fresh off the game. So we'll see how things play out over today, tomorrow, and Wednesday.
Are you hopeful of having him Sunday?
Yeah. We're preparing as if we have him.
Robert, when you went back and watched how Mike played yesterday, especially after he came back, like what kind of stood out to
you? He's tough as nails, man. He's he got beat up a little bit. I think we all agree on that. Feel like we could have played a lot better on the offensive line. Felt like we could have been better in the run game, but he stood in there, took his shots, delivered strikes. And was playing really well and moving the ball on what's a pretty good defense in their home stadium. But unfortunately, we just, a couple of things there in the fourth quarter kind of derailed drives with turnovers and all that. But he was awesome.
Robert, obviously, Mike's injury put some spotlight on your number 2 quarterback. Is Zach ready for that, or do you plan to keep going status quo with Joe and Zach inactive?
Zach's ready for everything, but at the same time, I've still got to meet with the offensive staff and just kind of not reevaluate, but just make sure we finish the evaluation process and all that. So again, that's another one with regards to the backup quarterback that I'll have answers for you guys on Wednesday. But Zach's fine. He's been working hard for the last couple of weeks. He's in a great mental headspace, and so he's ready for whatever we ask out of him.
What goes into a decision like that?
A lot of communication, just make sure everyone's on the same page. And, just looking back, obviously he's been improving over the last couple of weeks too. So Zach's done his part. And, so again, we're just things that we have to talk about.
Robert, you guys over the last few weeks have not been starting as fast as some of the previous games and falling into deficits, putting pressure on the defense and et cetera. Why do you think those starts have not been as crisp as they were earlier?
I feel like last week or yesterday was pretty good. It was a battle. It was 7-7. It wasn't, they scored right before the end of the half. We scored to come out of the locker room. They did a great job with their drive, but we've played some pretty darn good football. Chicago was probably the only game where I look back at it and say, gosh, that was just a really bad start. Minnesota, good football team, started pretty good. New England was neck and neck the entire game. So it's probably recency bias or Rich with regards to Chicago and Minnesota, but I'm not overly concerned about how we're starting football games.
Robert, when you look at the last 2 weeks, you've lost to 2 teams with 10 wins in their place in one possession games, essentially. How do you process that in terms of where you guys are at? Obviously, you feel like you let some opportunities go by in both games, I know, but what is the message to the players coming out of those 2 games? Do you take some positive out of that and try to push that forward to the guys? And maybe was that part of what you said to us last night? Afterward about we're going to see the Bills again because you feel good about your team. This
is a good one because you look at these 2 games with Buffalo, and this is a perfect example. Buffalo's a championship football team. I feel like we're a championship type football. Like we can be that, but how do we get to that next step? Game 1 versus Buffalo, neck and neck, great defensive battle. We get 2 takeaways. They miss a field goal. Little details. Flip to yesterday, defensive battle. neck and neck. They get 2 takeaways. We turned it over right there in the fourth quarter. We have an offsides penalty that extends a drive. Just little details. And when you get to playoff football, you're in December and you're trying to separate yourself when you're the elite of the elites are playing against one another. It's the details that separate those teams that get you in the playoffs. So it's the encouraging thing is we can go toe to toe with anyone. Believe that. I think that's anyone who watches football can watch our games and say, God, this team can play with anybody. Now for this young football team, how do we become a team where you're on the flip side of winning more consistently in these battles? It's the details, and details are learned through repetition and all that stuff. And we've shown that we can be the more detailed team, but it's about gaining that consistency and confidence to execute in the fourth quarter when it's really, really nut crunching time.
And just as a follow, getting back to what you said, last night about where your just gut feeling is you're going to see these guys again. Is that something? I mean, everything every coach says has a message to it, to the whether it's to us, to the players, or whatever. Does that something you felt necessary to try to drive into your players' minds at all, and with their confidence?
It's what I said after the game, and I usually choose not to share what I tell the team, but there's a confidence I have. Maybe it's blind confidence. Maybe it's being biased towards what we see every day. I don't know. And it's not anything against these 4 teams that we're playing against. It's just a belief in our team. When you go back and when you watch it live, and then you get a chance to watch it and rewind and watch a tape, and December football is about grit. It's about strain. It's about 60%. Same things we've always talked about. And I just believe that's what this team has that mindset. And if you just bring that to the game, if you can bring that every single day and you can bring that to every game, you're going to give yourself a chance, especially in the fourth quarter. And we have, what's cool about this, we've got 4 playoff games because every team we're playing is fighting for a playoff spot. Even Jacksonville is looking for some help with if you'd like. So every game is going to have major playoff implications. So and the past 2 games, I mean, this is an awesome experience for our group. And it's going to be it just makes things more rewarding, especially if you can get it done.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Robert, what's your confidence level in Quinnen playing this week, and how much did kind of things change after he went out for you guys? He had a pretty dominant performance early.
I know he had 2 sacks in a quarter and a half. Guy's unblockable, man. He's one of the best players in football, and not to the credit of the guys. We love our D-line. We love our rotation. Felt like we still played at a high level. We gave up a couple of drives there. But I thought the defense to hold that offense to 230 yards and 4-4 a play, and 2 of whatever the heck they were on third down, I thought defensively was outstanding. Missed an opportunity at a takeaway at the start of the second half. But other than that, I just felt like as a group played so hard, played so sound, played so smart that we gave ourselves a chance to win, and we just couldn't get it done.
Robert, when it comes to defensive line play, specifically on the interior, I think that Aaron Donald is the guy who is universally considered to be the best at that particular position. You got a chance, obviously, I know you didn't directly coach against him, but you got a chance to see a lot of Aaron Donald when you were in San Francisco. Is Quinnen that good? Is he on Aaron's level?
Yeah, him, Chris Jones, Quinnen, Chris Jones, Kansas City, Chris Jones, they're 3 of the most dominant interior defensive linemen in the game today, in my opinion. They're when they're hard to block, and they do it in different ways. Chris has amazing length and wiggle to him. Aaron Donald is obviously quick in short area space and explosive, and Quinnen is just pure brute strength. And so Quinnen is up there with the best of them for sure.
Robert, you mentioned the turnovers when you were talking about the 2 Buffalo games. I think it's been the last few games now. You guys haven't had the takeaways like you had earlier in the season. CJ had the one against Chicago, but other than that, it's been pretty dry. Are you guys missing opportunities? Are the opportunities not there? What are you seeing in the takeaway department?
It's a little bit of both. We're playing we've missed, against Minnesota, we missed 2 opportunities. in the first half, right before the half, Jordan, not to call him out or anything, he had a chance at a couple of them, but we've had the ball on the ground a couple of times that we haven't been able to recover. But also when you're playing, when the level of competition steps up too, we've played since the bye week. New England has forever been a team that's taken care of the football. Chicago, we got one off of them, and then the last two opponents are number 1 and 2 seeds in the respective conferences. They play clean styles of football, and so we've also missed some ops, but at the same time we're playing some good football, some pretty darn good football teams too. So
We'll take a few more for Coach. A few more.
Corey Davis, is there an update on him?
Corey will be in the concussion protocol. I apologize, I missed that one. He's going to be in the concussion protocol, but was feeling really good today. Hopefully we have him back for Sunday.
Going back to Al's question about Quinnen, you really didn't answer. What are your expectations for his availability on Sunday?
I call it 50-50 for now. I'll have a better answer for you guys on Wednesday. Again, it's fresh off the game, so he's got to be able to. We'll see how he progresses over the next couple of days. And
also with Mike, Robert, is there a chance he could be limited on practice on Wednesday? And if so, with a guy who's only had 6 career starts, how would that affect him if he's limited?
Again, those are questions I have answered for you on Wednesday. I'm not going to play the hypothetical game. We're proceeding as if he's going to be a full participant and play in the game on Sunday.
Robert, can you speak to what you thought the biggest issue was with the offensive line yesterday? I know we mentioned like the numbers to you yesterday. Like what when you went back and watched, like was there something that stood out to you?
It's a combination of a lot of things. First off, playing on the road against a defensive line like that who can jump, you have a silent count and you can jump it. Yeah, D lines at home are always have the advantage. That's why we love playing at home. That's why crowd noise is so important. Gives the D line an extra jump. But at the same time, just there's one-on-one battles there where I know our offensive line wants some plays back. They did a good job. They're a damn good football team. They're at home and they played fast, they played physical, and at the end of it, we still had a chance to win. But I think I speak for the O-line when I know that we could have played a heck of a lot better, but they have something to do with that too. They're pretty good on the defensive line. So
last one here.
Robert, I was going to ask about Elijah Moore. It was certainly his most active day, 82% of the snaps, 6 catches since most active day since week 4. What have you seen from him coming back from that, mid-season lull he had?
Yeah, no, he's, excuse me, I apologize. Talked to him some last week. He's hitting his fastest GPS numbers that he's hit since August. He's been unbelievable with his, the way he's attacking every day. He's just it almost feels like he's just let go in terms of just, he's going out and having fun and just playing football. And it's almost as if the result doesn't matter. Obviously it still does for him, but he is playing with almost like a free release of just screw it. I'm going to play. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to cheer my team on. I'm going to be who I am. Mm-hmm. And that's who he is. Like he is basically the person who we drafted in terms of just that mindset and dominating the things he's got control over. And because of it, he has been progressively getting faster and faster and more precise in his route running. And because of it, he's getting the separation and he's finding ways to get open. And obviously Mike has been able to deliver him the football. I think he had 10 targets yesterday. So he's deserving of it with all the work that he's put in and the way he's improved day in and day out.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.